It's a good game. It's solid. When I say Deepwoken is a good game, I'm no longer putting it next to other Roblox games. In my opinion, Deepwoken has transcended the majority of other games on Roblox. It's at the point where if I were to be comparing it to other games on the same platform, it'd just be 20 to 30 minutes of me praising the game and kissing the ground the developers walk on. So, to avoid that, instead I'll be looking at it from somewhat of a outward view, comparing it to some of the many games I've played throughout the years. You could think of it as taking off the Roblox training wheels and moving up to the big leagues with games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, 2K, etc. So at the end of the video, if the overall rating is lower than what you expected, just know that's why. And to be honest, I'd say that's just more of a compliment to Deepwoken itself. I mean, come on, this is Roblox. The same platform where it feels like 85% of the games are just cash grabs, obbies, or freaky simulators. Deepwoken is so far ahead in terms of quality, it would be almost insulting to compare it to these other games. So I won't. So just be aware this might result in the review being a bit harsher than something like my Jujutsu Infinite review where I gave it a 5 out of 10. But anyway, I think that's enough of an intro. Now then, let's start our brutally honest review of Deepwoken. Right off the gate, I'd like to compliment the progression in this game. The grind from Power 1 to Power 20 isn't as mundane as you would think. I mean, I'm sure we're all familiar with games where you go from mission to mission to mission, doing the same quest over and over again until you reach a high enough level. Then guess what? All you get as a reward is another new quest that gives a little bit more XP and a little bit more money. This infinite loop of just bandit beating has sadly become the normal for these games and resulted in boring advancement to max level. Thankfully, Deepwoken flips this on its head by offering a much more engaging and interesting journey for your playthrough. There are many aspects of character building that keeps you engaged. Stats, talents, equipment, mantras, etc. You don't just turn off your brain and go from one quest to the next, putting stat points in every time you level up, then going right back to the same old grind. There's an entire world of different NPCs and bosses to fight whenever you please. If you want to go fight a difficult boss at Power 1, you're free to do so. If you want to go to an island with enemies that are 20 times stronger than you, once again, you're free to do so. That's also why I love open world games in general. I'm sure we've all been there. You're playing a game and you see something interesting. You run towards it just to find out that you need to be a higher level just to access it, or maybe you need to complete a quest. Having the majority of your options available to you, even when you're first playing the game, is just a certain amount of freedom I want more games to explore. But I'm not going to sit here and just sugarcoat it. The grind can become repetitive. After playing the game for a long time and learning pretty much everything about it, I can definitely understand why people would say they get tired of it. I mean, if you've gotten to max level over and over again in any game, why wouldn't you start to find it dull? But I won't say this fact takes away from the game. There's still new content consistently being added, so it's definitely safe to assume that somewhere down the line there's going to be an update that adds even more content to progression or maybe just completely reworks it. Okay, this is getting aggravating. I've been sitting here staring at my Google Doc for about maybe 30 minutes now because I just can't find a good way to explain PvE without sounding like just a complete fool, a complete idiot. I mean, PvE, in my humble opinion at least, is less difficult and more inconvenient. The mobs themselves are simple. Once you learn their attack patterns, when to parry, when to dodge, etc., outside of when you're lagging, it's, well, easy. For the most part, you probably won't even get hit. So, when does the difficulty come? Well, things like Hell Mode or the Diluvian? Yeah, I think I pronounced that right. The Diluvian mechanism or Hell Mode are more challenging on paper, but in practice, it's mainly just a stat check. swarms of enemies attacking you, and instead of relying on the game's principles of, block, parry, dodge, instead your success is mainly dependent on if you successfully made your build for PvE. PvE being a stat check just isn't healthy or fun for the game. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible for a PvP build to succeed in PvE and vice versa. It's really just unlikely. There's such a huge gap, a huge bridge between PvP and PvE that if you want to be good at one, you're probably not going to be that good at the other. A PvP build can easily be Duke or Chaser or Ethereon, but the Diluvian, it's doubtful. That kind of content is really just specifically locked behind stats. There really is no middle ground. But I think I'll stop talking about this for now. Because, as Corday once said,
but I know it's a lot of bullshit going on, I understand, but please don't complain without a plan.
Right now, I just can't think of a good change that would mend the gap between the two forms of gameplay. Do you start merging certain talents so both PvP and PvE builds will take them? Do you just straight up remove all stat check game modes? I don't know. That's why if you were to say it's unfair for me to criticize the PvE system, I can accept that, because right now I can't come up with a solution. Okay, this section is going to be short because it kind of blends into the next section. I truly do love PvP in this game. Maybe it's just because I love pairing systems in general, but something about the fighting in this game is just so enjoyable. I truly do love PvP in this game.
Flashback.
My God! My God! Like...
End of flashback.
Okay. Maybe that's just a bit inaccurate. Okay, let me explain. For me, PvP in this game is either a huge hit or a huge miss. And unfortunately, the latter happens just a little bit too often. Sometimes you finally find a good server. You end up getting into a gank or some sort of fight, and you have fun. Win or lose, that fight is still most likely enjoyable, even if you don't want to admit it. At its best, Deepwoken PvP is top tier. Nothing feels overwhelmingly broken or cheesy or just unfair. Everything just feels fun. But at its worst, okay. So 90% of the problems that I have with PvP, they come from the balancing. And I'm sure that's not a big surprise to anybody. I can deal with bugs. I can deal with glitches. I can even deal with laggy servers. But I can't, and I refuse to deal with unbalanced trash constantly being both added to the game and remaining in the game. So many things that could be avoided with just a few minutes of testing. A move with no audio cue and a very fast windup. A talent that quite literally removes one of the main movements in the game. A weapon that was so absurdly broken on release, it had to be nerfed the exact same day people started using it. It's a shame because all these things could have been easily avoided with just 5 minutes of testing. 5 minutes of testing would have identified all the problems right away and led for an easy and quick fix before it even was released. Like at some point you have to ask where the disconnect is. Do the developers just not listen to the testers? Are the testers even doing their job? Do testers even exist in this game? This is the part I'm most critical about because this is the part that falls on the devs the most. I can excuse bugs and I can excuse laggy servers because obviously that's not intended for the game. And in some cases, it's just completely out of their control. But releasing new legendary weapons, what feels like almost every week just for them to be brain dead and broken? Did anybody really ask for that? I mean, I can't speak for the rest of the community, but I'd much rather have an update of just straight balancing and bug fixing rather than dropping half-finished content that ends up needing 5 to 10 fixes not even a day after it's been in the game. And I'm not gonna sit here and act as if balance changes don't happen regularly, because they do. That would be unfair to the game if I were to just turn a blind eye to that fact. The main problem is that it feels like for every nerf or for every buff, there's 2 more things in the game that remain completely untouched. Ooh, they nerfed one Gale talent. What about this annoying Shadow talent that you've been talking about for months? Ooh, they nerfed that one legendary weapon, then they add a new one that's completely busted. I could easily spend the next 20 minutes talking about all the problems I have with balancing in this game, but for this video's sake and time's sake, I'm just gonna move on. Quality over quantity. An age-old saying that I would think applies perfectly to the state of the game right now. Before I start to criticize anything, I'd like to point out that Deepwoken having consistent weekly updates that usually add more content to the game is very impressive. Some games you have to wait months, maybe even a whole year just for a mediocre update, adding maybe 1 or 2 new things. I truly do appreciate that at least the game is constantly getting new things, new stuff. But new doesn't always equal good. I mean, I can't even begin to count how many new releases and new things have been added to the game just for them to be broken or not working as intended. New running animation drops, and it looks worse than the original. Stone Knight's animations got reworked, and it looks like it's practicing squats for better thighs. World events got added, and one of them is just a buggy mess. The list can just go on and on. It's like for every update log, there's an equally long log listing the broken things that are getting fixed. This may come as a surprise, but nobody really wants another half-baked, boring legendary weapon. It's broken and adds nothing good to the game. Why not focus on reworking old weapons in the game that nobody really touches anymore? If you want to have a good feel for the state of the game right now, just take one good scroll through the suggestions tab in the Deepwoken Discord. You'll see that most of the things I'm saying in this video almost echo the opinion of most of the community. I think these 2 comments are a perfect conclusion for this section of the video. You guys are piling content up and not refining any of it. It's just going to collapse on itself at this point. Please just focus one weekly update just on bug fixes instead of more content. There's so many bugs driving people away right now, it's insane. I guarantee you fixing stuff will raise the player count more than adding in more slop content. Overall, I'd give Deepwoken a 6 out of 10. If you're looking at it as just another Roblox game, you can give it a 10 out of 10, 100 out of 10, a million out of 10. It undoubtedly exceeds most Roblox games in terms of world building and gameplay. But since we're avoiding doing that in this video, the game's issues get put more on display and are highlighted a little bit more. I love Deepwoken. I've been playing it for a very long time. So that's why it upsets me to see this game's fall from grace. And that may be a bit of an exaggeration. It's definitely not a bad game right now by any means. But if you've been playing this game for a decent amount of time, you can visibly see the changes. And if you're like me, you just don't love it. The game's never been perfect and there's always been problems here and there, but around this time, I start to look at it and wonder, is this really the same game? But what do you think? Okay, sorry to butt in, but there was a few things I felt like I needed to say that I didn't put in the original script, so here I am popping in just to drop a few little extra info bombs on you. One, if you made it to the end of the video, if you watched all the way through, thank you so much. My wrist hurts and it thanks you for watching it and watching all the shit I've been editing for like the past, it's embarrassing to say how long. So let's just say I've been editing it for a while. So me and my wrist thanks you for, making it all the way to the end of the video. So, go ahead and thank him, wrist. Yes, I just tapped my wrist on the mic. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. Anyway, thank you so much. And one other thing I wanted to explain that I don't think I communicated enough in the video. I love Deepwoken. Deepwoken is an amazing game. Like I've said it, in the video, but I just don't think it was communicated enough. I love Deepwoken. Like I love Deepwoken so much. I don't want to sound like I criticize the game because you know why wouldn't I? It's just because you love a game doesn't mean you can't criticize it. So I criticize the game, but I need to make sure everybody knows that I don't dislike Deepwoken in any way. The developers have worked very hard on the game, and I very much want to acknowledge that and you know make everybody aware that I thoroughly appreciate the game. So I just wanted to say I love Deepwoken. Hopefully the things I mentioned in this video get fixed so I can love it even more. But, you know, there you go. Thank you for watching, and I'll let myself from earlier get back into the outro. Am I being dramatic? Am I spot on? Maybe just agree to disagree? Please feel free to let me know down in the comments as well as how you feel about the game. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good night / day / whatever time it is for you. As always, peace out. I'm gonna make this the intro, but I decided I'm not gonna ruin the tone for like the start of the video, so I saved this for the outro, you know, not technically the outro, but half outro, whatever you want to call it. It came to my attention when like I'm quite literally seconds away from posting the video, like 5 seconds away from hitting post. I just looked up like brutally honest review of Deepwoken or something like that just to make sure nobody has done it before or nobody has used the same title before. I'm sure people have reviewed Deepwoken before, but I don't think I thought nobody had used the title before, but this gentleman, this sir right here, apparently beat me to the punch. He posted it 8 days ago, so it makes me look like a complete fraud. Anyway, we're just gonna roll with it. Shout out to this guy. He definitely beat me to the punch. I'm not gonna change the title to anything else because you know I did it for the Jujutsu Infinite review, and we're trying to make it a series, so I'm not gonna change the title. But just in case anybody watched that video and it came to this one, like, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right, you know. This is just for those people, or just for any hypothetical people. I'm not happy, obviously. I hope it doesn't mess with the video, because having 2 videos that are relatively the same title, or I don't know, maybe YouTube will kiss me on my mouth, maybe it won't. Regardless, shout out to this guy. He beat me to the punch. I am so upset. Hopefully the video does okay. I'm not expecting it to do well, and I wake up the next day and freaking the government is like coming around and trying to recruit me for some editing skills or something. But hopefully the video hits like, I don't know, 500 or something. Anyway, sorry for another interruption. I just wanted to acknowledge this right here. Y'all have a good night / day / whatever time it is for you. And as always, peace out. Okay, you're getting my reaction in real time here because I am just all types of upset. Okay, so you got this, which I just talked about, right? And then you got this is the exact title I'm gonna use for my video. This is the exact title I'm gonna use for my video. This is the exact title I'm gonna use for my I just don't even want to post this anymore. Honestly, it was a good try. I'm just gonna I just feel like trashing it and throwing it out. I don't know. I feel like it's taboo to post. Okay, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I just live on freaking camera. I just calm myself down. All right, we're just gonna post a video, bro. Even if it's got the same title, whatever, bro. That I feel like punching something and freaking RKOing something, and it was 3 days ago. All right, whatever. We're posting it. Whatever. If it does trash, I don't care. Shout out to these two. They beat me to the. They both beat me to the punch. They both beat me to the punch. Oh my gosh! You see all these tabs up here? These are all from freaking making the video. Oh my goodness! All right, we're just gonna post the video. Thank you and wish me luck.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.